You're watching the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Hey everybody, and welcome in on a Tuesday edition of the Brent and Austen Show. Once again, from the road. Austen won't be with us because he's really from the road, all the way from London. It's a little bit later in the day for him as he gets ready for fight time. And we get ready for the World Baseball Classic coming up tonight for the United States against Venezuela. What a matchup we will have. We'll talk a little bit about what's coming up in baseball. A little football stuff to get to, although there's not a lot of news happening. We finally have our bracket set for the best of the Jacksonville Jaguars bracket of 2026, as we will have some fun with that once we've finally figured it out over the last 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. And men's basketball tournament gets rolling here, first 4 games. Of course, the Florida Gators don't play until Friday, and it should be a good tournament. I think we mentioned this a little bit yesterday, but we're more talking about the Gators and their path. And we'll continue to talk about the men's bracket. Matthew Driscoll will join us in the 11 o'clock hour to break down the bracket, get a little update on him. Also, his thoughts on Bobby Kennan being the UNF men's basketball coach on a full-time basis. So it'll be fun to catch up with Coach in about an hour or so. But the one thing about the NCAA tournament now, I've been saying this for weeks, I think this is going to be a really good one. I hope I'm right. I think it will be really, really good in terms of the depth. I think you're going to get some matchups in the Sweet 16, even for Florida. That Vandy potential matchup for Florida could be really interesting and not easy for the Gators. I don't think anything will be too easy once you hit the Sweet 16 in the 2026 edition of the NCAA tournament. And what else did I want to get to real quick that I didn't get to yesterday? Oh, that was Florida State. Just a quick thought on Florida State. They didn't take the NIT invite. And I know a lot of teams don't do that now. And I was wondering, we'll maybe get into, maybe even ask Coach this, but should Florida State have taken the NIT invite? Does the NIT just not matter anymore? And I thought it was pretty interesting that Luke Laux, who really did a nice job, they had him playing well, he said that they didn't think, or the team actually came to the decision, the seniors, who doesn't want to keep playing basketball when you only have like a couple of games left potentially in your career? I didn't get that one. So we'll bring that up and talk about it a bit more. Let's see if we got Chandler back there in the studios. I know he's back there. I just don't know if he can hear us or not. World Baseball Classic tonight, Venezuela and the United States. Are you fired up about it, Mr. Baseball Guy?
I'm fired up. It's going to be a good one. Love watching USA play, and it's in the USA, so I think it's going to be great.
Well, what's crazy about it now is there are not too many events in the United States on home turf that the opposing team will have more fans and will have probably the crowd in their favor. And that's the anticipation that the Venezuelan faithful will really show up down in Miami for this World Baseball Classic championship game. So that's kind of odd in itself. And I like the fact that we got this matchup. I was wondering, Italy obviously beat the United States, and there's a lot of talk about Italy. I think I saw it was somebody tweeted out Venezuela against Northern New Jersey tonight in the semifinal game, because there are so many guys from the United States. I think there are 23 players, if this was accurate, 23 players on Team Italy that were born in the United States. Well, that's not the case with the Venezuelan team. I mean, the Venezuelan team feels like the Venezuelan team, and it's really important to them. It's because it seems like it's really important to the United States too. And Chandler, do we have Aaron Judge that we could play? And I thought this was pretty interesting to hear the remarks. I mean, we've heard a lot of this kind of conversation from the Venezuelans, the Dominicans, the Japanese, like all these other countries that this means so much. But then we've also heard some guys like even a Kiki Hernandez say this is bigger than the World Series. And Judge recently said the crowd is definitely more electric than the World Series. These are guys that have played in it before. And so it gives you some insight But I think this is cool from Judge because this just shows how much these guys want to win. And you can feel it this time around. I know the whole DeRosa situation kind of derailed that for a moment last week when they lost to Italy. And did they even know the exact situation? But I think all along you could sense that from the United States players, this thing meant a lot. I mean, Paul Skeens, what he said, a guy that played at the Air Force, has a lot of people, buddies and people that he knows serve overseas. You could see that it means something to him. And I mean, heck, Schoolball made the drive down to go support his team. I think these guys are really into it. And I think that's the difference maker for the United States. And it might put them over the top for, I think, just the second time in WBC history. Here, take a listen to Aaron Judge.
Bryce and Aaron, obviously, as you go to sleep last night, as you wake up this morning, I know this tournament's only been like a week and a half, but how much are you in that kind of like late October mode sense of the anxiety, the excitement, all those things?
Yeah, it's been fun. You know, I'm sitting there doing dry swings in my hotel room, having my wife videotape it. It's just, you know, or just you feel like a kid again. You feel like the kid laying out your jersey before you go to your first All-Star game or something like that. It's just been a special moment, and I think the coolest thing has been just being a part of this, seeing every single guy in this room who's been the best at their craft, just seeing how much they want to win, how much they check their egos at the door. It doesn't matter if there's MVPs, Cy Young winners, All-Stars. Each guy checked their ego at the door and stepped in here and threw on the USA, and you know they're representing their country the right way. So it's been an absolute blast, and you know just having this playoff atmosphere in March it definitely gets you geared up for the season real quick. So I've been enjoying this moment and enjoying it, especially these two guys, you know, leading the way. It's been a lot of fun.
I think anytime we get those kind of comments from today's players that are making, oh shoot, how much does Aaron Judge make? Chandler, how much does Aaron Judge make now? Is he up to like, he's got to be in like 40 million range or something, $35-40 million a year? You know, some of these, obviously, Ohtani's up to $70 million a year. Maybe Judge is more than that. I don't even know. I mean, the contracts are so ridiculous. I don't even know. But
he signed a 9-year, $360 million.
9-year, 360.
Annual salary is $40 million.
Yeah. Oh, so there you go. I could have done that math really quick. That was bad math. I had the math tutor here too to help me out, but that didn't work so fast in my brain. But yeah, I mean, $40 million a year. But anytime we get players, I think especially American athletes, but probably any athletes, and you could see something mean so much to them that they would do it for free. And I mean, I know they're not, I don't know what they're getting paid, if they're getting paid anything actually about the whole finances of this. But this is bigger than the dollars. This is about playing the game, and it means something to them. And the reason why we love big time sports like the World Series or even an NBA Finals or a Super Bowl is you feel the same way. I think the Olympics have this feel, even though now people get paid, and it's not about the money. So anytime a Ryder Cup kind of feels that way, definitely more for Europe than the United States, I think sometimes. But these athletes make so much money now. And so if you can just see the joy and the passion and not getting the paycheck, not the business side of it. And I think that's what this has shown. And I think as fans, Chandler, I mean, you probably don't mind that Aaron Judge makes $40 million a year, but you got to love the fact that this means something to these guys a little bit more than a bonus check.
Yeah, for sure. And as a fan, that's really cool to hear that he's just not out there to play a game. It actually means something to him to rep the country and play for his country. So I think that's pretty cool of what he said.
So who do you think wins? Do you think the United States is going to win or Venezuela? I mean, listen, I think Venezuela is going to be a tough out. I don't know what's left on the pitching front for everybody. I think the United States set up okay, but they obviously McLean's going to go, right? And didn't pitch well in the first time around. I think overall the United States has had the better pitching, and that was the story coming in. They've got stars, but they've also got better, deeper pitching. Mason Miller's been unbelievable. You see some of the stats with him and his strikeouts. I mean, it's incredible. Nobody can hit him. But who do you like tonight?
Of course, I'm going to go with the USA, but a little fun fact, we're bringing a little high school baseball talk. So we played Canterbury in the state championship last year. The same pitching coach, the same guy that calls the pitches is the same guy that calls for Venezuela as well.
Really?
Yep.
All right. So go backwards a little bit. So he coaches. Is he still there at Canterbury? Does he coach high school baseball? And he's part of Team Venezuela for this?
Yep. So he still coaches for Canterbury. They actually said it on the broadcast last night that he was coaching his son's JV team, but he's actually on the varsity pitching staff for Canterbury.
Really?
I thought that was pretty cool.
That is really cool. I mean, I think that's unbelievable. Really, I figured all these guys. I mean, we got some stories like that, like the electrician, right? Where was he from? Czechoslovakia, I think, or Czech Republic, yeah. And that was a cool story. So I think you do get a little bit of that, but I would think Venezuela is the one they got Cabrera, right? Miguel Cabrera's Miggy's in the dugout.
Yep.
And so this guy's coaching. Wow. So Canterbury, is it down in Miami?
Down in Fort Myers.
It's in Fort Myers. Okay. They're always pretty good too, right?
Yeah, they're always pretty good. I think
so
I was looking at their stats. They're 11-0 this year. They're doing great.
Yeah. So they're good. They're really good
taking
program.
a couple months off, maybe stepping away from Canterbury.
Well, yeah, that would get me to do it too. By the way, yeah. I mean, he doesn't even need to do that. He'd probably take 2-3 weeks off. Like that's it.
Yeah. Sure.
But wow, that's pretty wild. I did not hear that, and I guess I'm just a little surprised that it comes from that ranks. We got really good high school coaches, really good college coaches, but you would think maybe somewhere along the way someone's coaching in the minor leagues or instructional leagues, and that wouldn't be the case. But wow, what a cool story. That's pretty neat. That's what I love about high school ball in state of Florida. I say this all the time. Like you're gonna, I mean, you were at Trinity and St. John's Country Day. You're playing against kids that you're going to talk about and see in the big leagues for years and years to come. But then you have stories like that with the coach. Very cool. Speaking of high school baseball, I actually had a question for you. You told me about that Bennett school, right? Like that. That's they're out of Texas. They're kind of like IMG Academy. They kind of whooped you guys, but they beat IMG, so they're really good. It's their first year as a program, I think you told me.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
They're from Texas, and so it's first year school. I think a lot of the guys kind of just split up from Texas and kind of went here. It's a homeschool team. They all do their work and train all day with the team. It's kind of like the A3 Academy team down in Tampa.
Yeah.
So it's basically like that, and we didn't know much about them. We just saw, the commitments next to 1 through 9's name, and we're like, oh, crap, who's this team? We had the first year team and thoughts were like, maybe we got a chance. It's first year ever for them to have a program, and then they came out and they know how to hit the ball.
Wow. So they had commitments everywhere, basically.
Yeah, Texas A&M, Texas. I think the pitcher was committed to Texas.
Wow.
And then the next day they beat IMG.
Yeah, and beat IMG says a lot too. You guys battled IMG pretty good, right? I mean, you got beat up pretty good by the Bennett team, but then you battled IMG pretty good, I thought, right?
Yeah, they got us 8-6. We had a chance to walk it off in the 7th. But I think the first 5 runs that were scored from both teams were all home runs. Solo shots.
Wow. Oh, solo shots.
Yeah, the wind
was
that? Howling out.
Oh, it was blowing out, so a little helper there. That's really fascinating. You mentioned the 8th. The reason why I brought that up, by the way, is because I don't know if I saw Perfect Game or somebody else. Everybody ranks everyone now, but it was the top 25 in the country. And I think Bishop Snyder right now is 20th. Trinity Christian is 23rd. And gosh, I can't imagine you guys would have been too far out probably before the spring trip. But I didn't see that Bennett school on there, but it makes sense now if they're more like A3 Academy, because A3 isn't listed on that either. That's like, I would imagine I don't know how the hell IMG's listed in any high school ranking. But they are, like, they're always listed, even though they're not FHSAA, I don't believe. But I think there might be some distinction for, like, the A3s or this Bennett school where it's more of a prep school, and you kind of fall under that prep umbrella. I don't know that. But I heard A3 Academy's coming here to Jacksonville, too, right?
Yeah, they're making a Jacksonville program I think they're going to be out of Fort Family for the first couple of years.
I think you're right.
A3 Trojans Jacksonville.
Okay. Yeah, it's a new model. Like, I don't know. I don't want to hate on the model. I think it's a little goofy, the model, but I kind of get it too. It's it's funny every time we talk about we do shows now we're not doing them this week, no gate fees or where's home show that Chandler does on Sunday nights. So this is our little 5 minutes to talk about it. But it reminds me of like watching Olympic gymnasts all these years. I mean, they'll get shipped off to Houston or somewhere in Texas, and that's where they live. They go to school. They do their school on their own time. They're homeschooled, and they go work out all day. And it's like I don't think we ever really got bothered by it with the gymnast world because there's only how many of them. Well, now there's like a whole segment of the population that does this with youth sports, and that bothers us a little bit more, I think, rather than just going to your traditional high school. But yeah, that was fascinating. I never heard of the Bennett School for obvious reasons. It was the first one. And then I noticed that they weren't in that top 25. I said, I wonder why they aren't. But did you see the other part about youth sports? I saw this. I don't know if this is a new post or an old one, but I think it was 14, not 40. Maybe it was 40. There's $40 billion spent on youth sports last year. I think it was. And that's what Dick's Sporting Goods had like its best year ever, like $14 billion in revenue with Dick's Sports. And obviously most of that on the heels of youth sports. Mom and dad spending a lot of money, Chandler.
Man, that's crazy. These mom and dads will spend any kind of money for the drip, for the gear, for the wristbands, for the necklaces. They'll do it all.
I mean, that is I don't know if we can keep going with that part of it in sports. That seems like an absurd amount of money to be spending. But the bats are $400. The gloves are a lot. Everybody wants a new pair of shoes, or Bryce Harper shoes to this shoes. And I mean, we know it from the world we're living in. That's like that in every world. Soccer, basketball. Heck, basketball really started it with how much shoes were probably. But I don't know how sustainable it is. But heck, Dick's Sporting Goods is winning big right now. $14 billion. I just wouldn't. If you had asked me that question, the Dick's Sports are they like having great years, or are they, kind of trending downward, or like an Academy Sports, like all those? I would suggest they wouldn't be doing as well because there's so much competition for the stuff, and also Amazon and everything else where you can get the stuff. But apparently, Dick's Sporting Goods bringing in the right gear and the right things that people want because they're killing it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I mean, I remember when I was little, I loved to walk in Academy and go straight to the Academy or Dick's and walk straight to that baseball selection and pick out some batting gloves or maybe an Evo Shield or something along those lines. It seems like a lot of the youth kids are doing that now too. Props to Dick's.
I mean, it's amazing. How was the last time you bought something from Dick's Sporting Goods? I mean, you're living it. So, I mean, Evo Shield was a thing for a bit, but usually that's around 12, 13 years old. I mean, we used to do Ty had the Evo Shield stuff where you can mold it. I don't know if everybody's still doing that. I mean, that was more the chest protector thing. And then you get rid of that, right? That's not cool. You can't do that. You're not tough enough if you do that. But I mean, I guess arm guards and everything else. I mean, that's a thing too. Now everybody's got all the, it started with like Big Papi and Alex Rodriguez and you name it. But now all the kids have head to toe.
Yep.
They are well shielded, if you will.
Yeah, they got the necklaces, the wristbands, the arm sleeves. Just like Stefanik just said, I think Dick's has a better selection, but Academy price is better, and I agree with that. I would say the last time I probably bought something from Dick's was probably a couple weeks ago. Just some sunflower seeds. They sell some good sunflower seeds there, but I'm not a big guard. I don't wear a lot of guards or nothing like that. Just go up there and try to hit the ball into play.
You don't even have batting gloves, do you?
Depends.
Oh, do you?
On
Maybe
depends on it. Usually in
Okay.
practice, I don't wear batting gloves every day, but because I'm not trying
Okay.
to buy a lot of batting gloves because they rip real easy. So some practices I'm without batting gloves, but typically games I tend to wear them.
Yeah, I've never wore any of that stuff. I thought it would be kind of awkward to wear it, and Ty never wore any of that stuff. But last year, I think at when he was at Flagler, they made him get the elbow guard, and I was like, all right. I mean, whatever. Does it bother you? Because if you haven't done it, it's different. And so doesn't seem to be a problem. No problem with it. Now, a lot of the guys at the higher levels will, because you're facing 92, 94, 95, whatever it is, they'll have the hand stuff. I mean, all the big leaguers now have the hand pad. That would seem like so
uncomfortable,
bothersome, right? Like in your swing, I guess you just get used to it. And then they got the oven mitts.
Yep.
We wish Ty had the oven mitt on last week as he dislocated his pinky sliding into third. So that's no fun. But yeah, everybody's got something. But I kind of get it. I mean, you don't want to get hurt. So if you feel comfortable enough around it, and people buzzing you that nobody can throw a dang strike anyway, and they're trying to throw as hard as humanly possible, it hurts.
Yeah, it does.
So I kind of get it. What's going on with all that, and I just can't get over how much I would never imagine that much was spent in the youth sports world, but here we are. It is just like that. Sports Authority back in the day, yeah. My gosh, I forgot about Sports Authority. Academy has better prices for sure. Dick's has the selection. I wouldn't even know. Yeah, I don't know I don't shop at Dick's. I used to like go to Dick's at Town Center just to walk around and see what's up. Or I go to the golf section now. I'm a sucker for the golf section. But now that I have 3,432 polo shirts, I stopped buying those and stopped having them made, even for Action Sports Shacks most of the time. Just recently, we got a new polo shirt in the last few months. But yeah, I don't know the Academy. Maybe they are better prices, but it does seem a little bit more selection at Dick's, and maybe the more popular stuff. Like maybe we went to an event last year with Travis Hunter at Dick's Sporting Goods, and I wonder, and I think they actually utilize more of the stars in their commercials and everything else, so it kind of feels like the cooler place to go. But I'm sure Academy Sports has done really well too. Actually, Academy Sports locally has a lot of Jags connections. They bring them over for events and do a lot of things there. Sports Authority and Sound Advice. I've never heard of Sound Advice.
I've heard of Play It Again Sports. I used to go there a lot. They sell a lot of used stuff.
Yeah, well, it's wild, and I guess someday I'm going to do the story. I don't know I probably have just bits and pieces of the story, but Josh Baker and Baker Sports. How he started was he basically would buy stuff from Play It Again Sports and then kind of sell it out of the back of his truck. Like that's kind of how it started. I think that's how it started. I think I had that story right that he's told me. And then eventually, I think he bought some of the Play It Again Sports.
Oh, really?
I think he did. But then there's also like some of it went out of business. Now, I don't know if it only went out of business in Jacksonville or if it went out of business in other places. But yeah, I don't. Sound Advice. What the hell is that, Delphonic? Even Oakley's closed for a steal. Even Jags gear, they clearances. They'll do a lot of clearance stuff at Dick's Sporting Goods. But I can't remember the last time I actually bought something at Dick's Sporting Goods. I don't buy golf balls. I buy golf balls at Costco if I buy them. So
I usually just get mine at Walmart. Just get the cheapest ones.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I used to pay a little bit more for golf balls, but now the Costco ones are fine. Good value there. So I still want to know. I'm going to look up Sound Advice in the commercial break because I have no idea what that is. I'm assuming it's like is it like a Radio Shack-esque kind of place, or something where you just go get like speakers for your cars or for your living room? I'm assuming it has to do with that part of audio, but I don't remember that. I don't know if that's a Jacksonville thing or Georgia thing, a Southeast thing, or whatever thing. So I'm looking it up in the commercial break. 11 o'clock hour, we'll have Matthew Driscoll join us. Coming up next, we'll get into some football, okay? And the Jags had such a big 2025. We've tried to commemorate that a little bit with a bracket of our own. We're down to 32, and today there'll be some voting that goes on. This thing is it's fun, but it's hard. to do. So hopefully we can explain it well and have some fun with it. Circuit City. Oh, sound advice, Circuit City. Okay. I remember Circuit City. I feel like when I just got to Jacksonville, Circuit City was still going in like on the south side, right across from the Avenues Mall. They had a Circuit City there, but that's now been probably a decade plus since that went out. And obviously Best Buy. Best Buy's kind of morphed too. Best Buy felt like it was just TVs and sound systems and things. It felt like that, at least early on. Now it's everything. I mean, shoot. Have they always had washers and dryers at Best Buy? You could sell fridges and what? I mean, they've always had that. It just doesn't add up. It feels like electronics, not appliances, but they do it all at Best Buy. Now that's a place I'll go. That's the most recent purchase I made for these things right here.
Let's go.
So I can fly the chopper when we're on the road. All right, take a break. Brent Austen Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. Let's have some fun on a Tuesday. We'll show you the brackets. Then you can criticize us and tell me what I did wrong. But we're going to start the voting today on social media, on Instagram and Twitter as well. And we get this thing rolling, have some fun with it. Little twist on March Madness, Jacksonville Jaguar style when we come back. Nimnicht is synonymous with Jacksonville, and now in 2026, Nimnicht is celebrating 85 years of partnerships with you. Longevity equals trust, and you want a car dealership you can trust. Thousands of vehicles sold, generations of families, all part of the Nimnicht family of dealerships. My family has been part of the Nimnicht family for almost 20 of those 85 years, and I've told you about all the different vehicles that we've purchased. But it's not about the cars and the trucks. It's about the service and also the Nimnicht relationships that expand all around the community.
Congratulations to Jordan Matthews, our committed to the uncommitted player of the year.
Nobody but Nimnicht. They are there for you and your causes, your car buying experience, and they are there for you 24 hours a day at NimnichtBuickGMC.com. Experience professional grade with big inventory and even bigger savings. And Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealership. Nobody but Nimnicht for 85 years. This milestone belongs to you, Jacksonville.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Hey guys, we got a new player today. I hear he's pretty good.
Heard this guy played in the NFL.
I think he's an MMA fighter. I've actually been on his show, the Brent Austen Show.
Football and fighting, that's the easy part. Let's see if I still have it on the ice. What the heck, man? Who is this guy? He's saving everything.
Leave the hockey to the pros, man. It's hockey season. Come on out and see the Icemen play. Get your tickets at JacksonvilleIcemen.com.
We've been telling you about the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network for over a year now. How to find it, what to see. Simply put, it's TV online. Local sports content all day, every day. Just like this.
Did you always want to make history? Like, think that big, or just say, hey, I want to play in the NFL?
I always say I wanted to play in the NFL.
That's it. Back to her left side, takes a shot.
Oh,
and into the back of the net.
Oh, what a pass.
Oh, my goodness.
What a pass.
have. Say he doesn't make a tackle, you still feel like his presence is felt in every single play.
I did have a sense that they wanted to be bold, that they wanted to make a splash.
It's content you won't find on TV. Find it on actionsportsjacks.com and just sit back and watch local sports all day on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
You're watching the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Oh, look at those brackets. Worked hard on those brackets yesterday, just to let everybody know. So here's the deal. You got to keep this up for a bit, Chandler. Let everybody digest it. They don't need to see me. And I like how you got all 4 of these on there. So we're down to 32. The idea of this was an Austen idea. Left it on our lap. Then he had to rescue us last week and say, what the hell are we really doing with this? You might have heard some of that. We did it live. He hated it, but we had to move it forward. So I kind of enjoyed it. But the concept was find 64 best plays, moments, best things, however you want to describe it, of the 2025 Jags season. And it wasn't just the season, really the 2025 year, going all the way back to hiring Baselli and Cohen and company and to winning the AFC South. So, I mean, I guess it really bridges over to January a little bit of 2026. So now we create this March Madness bracket, and we're going to do a vote on Instagram and also Twitter, because we think that's probably the best way to engage. And then we'll add up both platforms, and we'll see who advances. Over the next couple of weeks, we try to crown a winner. So Austin's idea was we did the 32. So we got from 64 to 32. It just felt like it was a lot easier to do it that way. We're learning on the fly as well. But the brackets are set up differently. And this is where kind of we connected and it finally clicked on it, where he's got an offensive bracket, a defensive bracket, a culture bracket, and an aura bracket. Now, listen, some semantics involved here. I think there's some debate in some of it. Not everything is equal. It's kind of hard to do it, to be completely honest. But we gave it our best shot. I seeded it last night, and this is what we came up with. So, Chandler, I don't know if you like it. Chad, I don't know if you like it. But this is what we got, and this is what we're going with. And so, let me see if I can figure out the brackets. The top right is the offensive bracket. The bottom right is the defensive bracket. The bottom left is the culture bracket. And the top left is the aura, if you will, bracket, the Steezy Trev kind of stuff. Now, again, I think some of this is a bit debatable, but we got to fit it into a category somewhere. And like the culture bracket makes a lot of sense, right? Like Liam hired, Tony hired, Gladstone hired, and then bigger picture stuff like, you know, being able to play your best players, Cole Van Lanen, moving to left tackle, Jacoby Myers, making a big difference, going to make a move like that. I think the interesting one is a little bit Cam Little's in there at 68 yards, but that's Well, I guess a bit of a culture play too, because it kind of changed the way you think about everything and the sideline. And I mean, from the 70-yarder to the 68, we put 68 in. I thought the 70-yarder was initially on our list of 64 as well. And Cam had a bunch of kicks, like the Arizona kicks. So this was again pretty hard to get down to even 32. I think it's going to be interesting to see how people interpret our bracket. But I think the Aura one makes some sense in a lot of ways. From milestones to also the small market team and the Cohen Sol exchange. I mean, I got in my mind, I think, how some of these are going to go, but then I've second guessed myself a bit. I'm not really sure. Uh, Chandler, just your first glance at it coming off last year. What do you think? You don't have to love it. Does something pop out at you? Is that Lloyd pick six going to win? Is the Trevor slip six going to win? If you win the AFC South, is that good enough to win? What about the Cohen Sala exchange? And heck, Travis Hunter drafted might be one of the most pivotal things that happens in the organization over the next however many years. We just don't know exactly yet. What do you think?
I definitely like the Lloyd pick six versus Chiefs. There was a lot of energy there. It was a good part of the game. That's one of the games I went to. So I really like that one.
You did go to that game?
I went to that game. That was a fun one. I like the Cohen let it rip. I know that's number 8, but I really do like that one.
Yeah, it will be. I know I'll get a little feedback internally too. Like I didn't initially when I sent this out in an email, but I know like when I'm sure when Austen comes back next week from his fight, he'll be like, "Why is such and such number 7?" I just think a lot of them are debatable. Like I wondered about pairing certain things up, and in some parts, I think I did, like the Lloyd interceptions. It just felt better that way. I almost went Devon and Devon. I mean, I think one of the most underrated plays of the year is the Devon Hamilton deflection, and I wonder how that plays out in the whole bracket because it was huge. Like it literally won a game. I mean, how many plays on here literally won a game? Well, Trevor slip six kind of won the game. And several plays were huge in that game, but that kind of won the game. And the Devon deflection won the football game. Initially, we had another play that won a game was the Armstead sack forced fumble in San Francisco, but that didn't make the final 32. And I think what was the other one I was thinking of? Oh, the Tyson punch out. The Tyson punch out's a huge play, and I wonder this about Lloyd as well. Tyson's gone. Obviously, he was gone early in the season, and now Devin Lloyd's gone. So will people not feel emotionally attached to the pick six play as much as they did? You know what I'm saying, Chandler? Like you were there, so that's a really core. It's a core memory for you. I think it's a core memory for a lot of people. But do you lose a little bit of juice on that because now Lloyd's with the Carolina Panthers and he's no longer with the Jags? Are people going to be able to see through the fact that, hey, this was last year, it's not right now?
I mean, I hope they see it as just last year. I mean, it's the best of 2026 season, so I think that was one of the best moments in Jacksonville's 2026 season. People might have some bad blood with him since he's out of the Jaguars organization, so we'll see.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't think it's intended for him. I just think it's kind of like a subconscious thing that if they're now gone, you're not as attached to that. And we have ETN in here as well. So it's that's fun. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Again, the voting will take place starting tonight or today. I think Noah's going to put it out on Instagram. Once he does that, I'll put it out on Twitter. I really don't fully understand how the polling works on Instagram, so Noah's going to do that for us. And I'll probably just lay out 4 different, like one bracket a day to vote on this week for, for the Twitter folks. But it's the easiest place to do it, and then we'll just add them both up and see how it shakes out. And then next week we'll get to the round of 16, and then we'll get down to an Elite 8 and so on and so forth, and we'll have a champion. So I kind of like the idea. It gives us a lot of thought. Also gives us a chance to remember last season and how special that season was. Yeah, and it gets me thinking a little bit about this year and even the right now, right? That right now has been very blah for the Jags. I mean, it's just uneventful so far. And they lost Lloyd, they lost ETN. We know this. They add Rodriguez. Okay, interesting. They re-signed Buster Brown. I mean, there's just not a lot of like, oh wow, where there's usually oh wow. We've talked about that a bunch. I also think there's going to that season was so good in so many respects. It's going to feel like a little bit of a letdown in some parts, I think, this year. It's hard to duplicate some of that. And just the way it materializes, the expectations, how they change, the anticipation, the unknown. And I think we're going to get a season, much like an off season, is going to be hard to live up to last year. That's not it for the Jags for me. Like, I don't care about that. I mean, I guess in real time, you'd be like, man, it doesn't feel as exciting or whatever. I really think it's about making the playoffs again. Like, there's one mission in 2026 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that is make the playoffs again. Make the playoffs in back-to-back years for the first time since 98, 99, I believe it is. And the Jags came close to that in 22 and 23, and they couldn't get one more win. One more win, they would have checked that box. They didn't. And because they didn't, partly we're here, or we were last year. And now can this team do it? This is all about sustaining success. This is about win this year, become a perennial playoff team, put yourself in the dance, put yourself in the bracket each and every year so you have a shot to maybe go win a Super Bowl. We all believe this. The Jags, if they had won that game against the Bills, we think there's a decent shot they would have played in the Super Bowl. There's confidence. Well, I think there could be confidence next year, the same thing, even if you don't win 13 games, even if it's not as electric, just as long as you make it. Heck, I would say even if you don't win the AFC South. I don't think you have to win the AFC South to have things fall your way and still go to a Super Bowl. So just get yourself in the dance. But it's going to look different. It's going to feel different. I mean, you think about those moments that we just put up there. That Monday nighter that Chandler was talking about, I mean, that was one of the top games in the history of the franchise. Are we going to have a moment like that again? Well, we'll see if we get some primetime games. There's a schedule that could have some juicy games to it, especially at home. But I don't know if we get that. And by the way, it'll be hard to get that. You're going to have 25,000 less fans in there. So everything happened in that moment on that Monday night game. And by the way, I'm not sure at the end of the day, that was the highlight of the year. It's just that was really cool. And that was an atmosphere that people remember. And if you went to that game, you'll never forget. It's Mahomes. It's the Chiefs. It's Mahomes and the Chiefs before we knew they really weren't as good. It also was Trevor really playing well. I thought he played a tough game. I don't think he gets enough credit for how he played in that game. I think everybody remembers the throw to BTJ and the touchdown, but I think he played tough in that game, ran for a lot of yards in that game. But then you do have those kind of highlight plays like the Lloyd pick, the beautiful throw to BTJ, the Travis Hunter play downfield for like 46 or 48 yards. There was so much in that game. Are we going to get a game of that magnitude again this year? I would say, I mean, probably not. It'll be a really hard thing to do. And it'll be fun if we did, but it'll be hard to do. And then you take like the Vegas game, you take the Arizona game. I mean, those are games that you wouldn't necessarily think would be standout games going into the year, and they turn out to be huge moments. And then, of course, there's the Denver game. There's the fun of the Jets game where everything comes together. I mean, so many things, much like 2022. See, 22 is so different because they had to rally and come back from double digits, and it was almost improbable. And they were 3-7 at one point. This one, they stayed ahead of the chains in the win-loss column, and then just played unbelievable football. So I wonder where this settles down to. I wonder where our expectation is going to be. I wonder how the feel of the season is going to be. What is the kind of the journey and the navigation of all that for the Jacksonville Jaguars? And it'll be interesting to kind of gauge it and see where that lands. Hey, Let's do this. Let's stay on time here. Hit another break. Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Shacks 24/7 Network. I know we're going to get behind a little bit because we're going to have Matthew Driscoll on the show coming up at 11 o'clock. So Chandler, let's hit a timeout. Come back. Did you see that Liv and I went shopping? I lost. We'll talk about that coming up.
Baker Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University. Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oak Leaf High School.
Tony Mazzio, Stanwood High School, class of 2002.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Shacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
For more than 60 years, the Bob Hayes Invitational Track Meet has provided scholarship opportunities and competitive events. Please join us for the annual Hall of Fame Gala, March 19th at the Potter's House. And March 20th, it's the James Day Middle School Meet at UNF. And Saturday, March 21st, the annual Bob Hayes Invitational Track and Field Meet at UNF. Get tickets and information now at bhitm22.org. Vendors and partnerships, call 904-222-1075.
Hello, I'm Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Since 2003, our firm has fought exclusively for the rights of men in family law. Divorce, modification of child support, alimony, custody, and more, all for men. A father is vitally important to a child's life, and being a man is not a reason to pay more in child support or alimony. I'm a single father. I get it. If you have a divorce or other family law issue, contact Kenny Lay & Associates at divorcemenonly.com.
Choose your own adventure. It's not just a saying, but a way of life here at Cycles of Jacksonville. And whether it's 2 wheels or 4 wheels, at Cycles of Jacksonville, a great adventure awaits. With brands like Honda, Vespa, Segway, and Triumph, Cycles of Jacksonville has you covered with their inventory featuring a 60,000 square foot building. If 4 wheels is more your thing, check out the largest selection of Honda Talons in the entire county. No matter what you're looking for, Cycles of Jacksonville is going to have the selection you need, all with great financing and rebates. Plus, if you're active duty military, Cycles of Jacksonville will offer you 0% financing along with great discounts for military and first responders. And when you want to get off the road and set sail, Cycles of Jacksonville has you covered with everything you need to get on the water. So if you're ready for a great adventure, let Cycles of Jacksonville be your guide. Located off Atlantic Boulevard, or check out their website at cyclesofjacksonville.com.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Shacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard Exterior and Gutter Helmet Showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground The water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
You're watching the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Welcome back here to the Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Take you until noon now, 10 a.m. until noon here on the show, here in our kind of our new structure with Action Sports Jacks that we're throwing out there starting this week. And we get to some more Jaguars conversation. This is from Daniel Griffiths, and he put this out on actionsportsjacks.com last few days with the Players' Championship, everything going on. We didn't really dissect it, and so wanted to look into it a little bit more. And I think that first stat is really big for Liam Cohen, right? Second in yards after contact. Liam Cohen has this thought and feel, and if you listen to him from a news conference standpoint, that he wants his backs to create. Like if there's 3 yards to get there, then it might be up to the back to be able to get 6, make a 4-yard play, an 8-yard play. How often can you do that? That's what they're looking for. And I thought I saw another stat as well. Well, actually, it kind of goes along with what Daniels has here. 8th in rush success percentage. And I think I saw another graphic out there, maybe Pro Football Reference. I can't remember who put it out, but 4 of the top 5 backs were either on the Rams or the Jags, and Tootin had a high success rate as well. So it made me think like, wow, the way they're looking at backs looks similar. And maybe we should be a little more excited about Chris Rodriguez and his impact and what he can do and what he could possibly make a difference in that backfield. But I think you should also be excited about Tootin. I am excited about Tootin. So you can read more about that on actionsportsjacks.com. But I mean, it's going to be really interesting to watch just the amount of impact that Rodriguez can make. I think he's a very under the radar guy. I got to be honest with you. We didn't know a whole heck of a lot about him. And then the Jags signed him. You start doing a little bit more work. You kind of feel like, oh, okay, I see what they see. And I think maybe the Jags found something here. But I do also think it goes back to what we've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks on the running back front, whether it was Etienne or someone else coming in here, or maybe it's drafting another player. Trust your eyes, trust the Jags' eyes, because they were pretty good with Tootin and LaQuint Allen. And quite frankly, they were probably pretty good at the draft at poking around on R.J. Harvey and Genty. I mean, so I think they know what they want in a running back. And Chris Rodriguez is something they want. And now let's see if it works. That's going to be the ultimate test to see if it actually works here in Jacksonville, and that complement of him and Bashal Tootin. And don't forget about LaQuint Allen. I got a really important question before we get to BTJ part of this. I'm staring at a Denny's, and Denny's, Perkins, Shoney's, Waffle House. Are they all in the same category, Chandler? And which one are you going to if I give you those 4 options?
I would say they're definitely in the same category. Definitely Waffle House and big Waffle House guy. At least
I feel like that's why I almost wanted to exclude Waffle House, because I feel like Waffle House would win on this.
I don't think I've been to the other ones ever.
You've never been to Denny's?
No.
You've never been, well, Shoney's, I'm not surprised at. I don't know if there are a lot of Shoney's around here. I don't even know if they still exist, but they did. They're kind of in the Denny's category. Perkins, have you heard of Perkins?
Never heard of Perkins.
Really? Gosh, these kids these days.
Been to IHOP.
I mean, you grew up on the West Side. You should have gone to Denny's.
No, I've never been to Denny's.
I think. You got to get out more.
This place on the West
Side. IHOP is not.
Famous Amos.
Go ahead.
You ever heard of Famous Amos?
Oh, Famous Amos, yeah. But I haven't been. And Village Inn. See, I've never been to Village Inn. Everybody talks about the desserts at the Village Inn, like the pies and everything. I think that's what they would. I never heard of Village Inn until I got to Jacksonville, I think. Maybe Louisiana. Can't remember. But I heard about it, and I think the story there is their pies, their desserts. I'm not really a big dessert guy, so like I'm not just going to a place just to go get dessert. But I've heard about Village Inn and never really been to Village Inn. So I guess I'm in that category. Shoney's breakfast buffet used to be legit. I don't really remember the breakfast buffet at Shoney's. Is that what it was? Steph remembers it. Yeah, I just feel like there are categories here. Like Waffle House, in a way, feels like it doesn't have a lot of competition. But maybe it is the same. I'm trying to think, like at Denny's and Shoney's and Perkins, it feels like you'll see a lot of like old people there. But then you'll also get your traffic stopping by for the quick breakfast. I don't feel like IHOP is in the mix of the Denny's and the Shoney's and everything else. Might be, but I don't feel like it. Same with Cracker Barrel. I think Cracker Barrel is a different animal than the ones I'm listing, because I would pick Cracker Barrel over all those any day of the week. But you could also eat like, I go to a Cracker Barrel for dinner. I've never thought in my life about going to a Denny's or Shoney's or Perkins for dinner. It's always breakfast, it feels like there. And Waffle House, same deal, right? So, yeah, I think I might have to put out a little poll on that.
I like
Famous
that.
Amos, though, like I've never been to Famous Amos. Like, is it good? I've seen it, but is it good?
Yeah, it's great. I love Famous Amos. Probably haven't been in like 6 years, but
Denny's or IHOP after the club growing up was also all right. We went there more than the Waffle House. Yeah, I was more of an IHOP guy growing up. We had IHOPs back home. I don't remember Waffle Houses in New England. I don't even know if Waffle Houses are in New England. I don't know if it's I know they're all around the country. It's not just a South thing. So I'm not entirely sure about that. But they all have their place, don't they? Famous Amos, I'm going to have to try it. Village Inn, we'll have to try it. I've tried the other ones. Chandler, you're going to have to try a Perkins or a Denny's. I don't know if you'll find a Shoney's around Jacksonville. You can definitely find a Denny's for sure.
Yeah,
we got Matthew Driscoll. We got Matthew Driscoll ready to check in or what? Because I'm going to ask him the most important question. Now, we usually go to like Beach Diner or something when we do breakfast with Coach Driscoll. But we might have to ask him about where he would go. Give us a second, Driscoll. We'll get with you in just a couple moments here. Chandler's setting you up. And then we'll ask you the most important question of the day. Not who's going to win the NCAA tournament, not how things are going, but where are you going to breakfast? If I give you a couple of these options, you can think about it. Waffle House, Shoney's, Denny's, Perkins are on the list. And we'll get to that in just a moment. Somebody else in the chat says pick and save in the 1990s. I don't think I've heard of pick and save. I'll have to look it up. There's no way that thing still exists. But I'll have to look it up. I'm trying to think of some older school restaurants that like you used to see all the time on the road. And now can't seem to find it. Hey, Coach Driscoll, if you can hear me, push that camera back a little bit. You're a little zoomed in for us. Or if you can get it away from you a little, that would be good. Chandler's wrestling with that. But right now, I can see your eyeball, basically, as you're getting ready to come on with us. As we talk a little NCAA tournament with Coach Matthew Driscoll, check in with him. It's been a little bit. See what he's up to next as well. If you want to just take the audio, by the way, Chandler, if you're trying to figure it out, we can do that too. Just let me know. I think he jumped out, and then he'll come back in a moment. So Brent Martineau and Chandler Dantzler here on the Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Getting ready to get Coach in just a moment. I think he jumped out real quick. Try to get back in a second, Chandler, just to let you know. There he is. He had it on like the what do we got now? The 0.5, the 1, the 2, and the 5 settings for the camera. He had it on like the 5 zoomed in for. But this is In Your Car, Brent and Austen show here with Brent Martineau and Matthew Driscoll. Now, what's happening, Coach?
Well, first of all, it's 28 degrees, so it's a little chilly at this point. Second of all, like, if you follow me, obviously Beach Hut for a non, whatever chain, but Waffle House is definitely a go-to. However, I think there's a Shoney in Gainesville, if I'm not mistaken. And your other question was Village Inn. So in 1998, at the Village Inn, when I was coaching at University of Wyoming, we played an NIT first round game, like about tonight, and we played against a school called Gonzaga. And their head coach, his name was Munson, and he was just ready to take the job at Minnesota because he figured they had reached their cap, and he wanted to level up and go to a 5 school at the time. And so back then in the days, we would go to have breakfast with the other team, which I didn't hear of. It was my first year as a Division I coach. And so we go have breakfast at the Village Inn in Wyoming, Laramie, Wyoming. Great spot. By the way, there's one in St. Augustine.
Yeah.
And Friday night is all you can eat fish, by the way. And so we go to eat breakfast with the staff in Gonzaga and us. And the whole time I'm sitting there saying to myself, what are we doing? Like, we're going to play these dudes. Like, we're both trying to win or goes to Hawaii. And sitting across from me at the table was a guy, I'm not sure a guy named Mark Few was sitting right there, right across the table. And so it's just crazy how in, 25, 28, 30 years ago, things were a whole lot different in college basketball than they are now.
That is unbelievable. That's a great story. How are you a Waffle House guy at all, or is that too much getting in the arteries?
No. We tried to buy one here. I actually talked with a good friend of mine runs all the Florida Waffle Houses, lives in Jax. And we got in touch with actually a UNF grad who runs the Kansas area to put one in Manhattan because it would do amazing.
Wow.
We just never got any legs. Mark Cagnasola and I looked into hard getting a cookout in Jacksonville. Okay. And we tried our tail off because he was tied into the Maple Street Company. And we tried our tail off to get a cookout. And now, there's a cookout coming where Freddy's used to be on Beach.
I knew one was coming, and my kid loves cookout, man. Ty loves it, so he can't wait.
That was probably 10 years ago, something like that. We tried. And I don't know why we struck out there either, but I just there's a lot of nice places that I'll tell you another one that's really rolling. There's one in Oakleaf. Is Raising Cane's. That's another one. If you want to put your money in, and that guy is like, he's a big time philanthropy guy. Like, he's a big time giver, sort of like Jersey Mike's. They had that March 27th, all the money, not proceeds, all the money on Jersey Mike's on that day goes to charity and throughout the country. And he's the Raising Cane's guy is another one like that.
By the way, if you ever, let me see if I got the name of the podcast. If you want to listen to the origin story of Raising Cane's, you go to a podcast named How I Built This. It's really good. How they got started. Yeah, so it's pretty cool how they tried. They couldn't do it, then they did. So a pretty cool story. I think you'd like that show, by the way. The guy that
what's it called again?
How I Built This, and they basically
by the way,
business owners.
It should be How I Built This / How I Paid for Brian Kelly's buyout.
He might have contributed. That is for sure.
He did. Yeah, he did. He's on the lane train.
All right. So hey, you're in Manhattan still. How you doing, man? How you been?
The Little Apple. You know what? I'm doing a little bit better in the sense that there's a lot off my plate. Because when you take over as an interim, what people fail to realize is that you have everything that you had, plus you have the head coach's responsibilities, and then in a mixture of both of that, we probably have been the longest fired staff in the country. And so I know that sounds weird, but had we just got fired, let's say Friday, then it's all new to you, and you're kind of, oh my goodness, and okay, let's figure this out or whatever. But we got fired a month ago, so your mind is just going in 50 million different directions, and you're trying to help the staff get jobs. And obviously part of that is my son is on staff, so help him get a job. And you still have an unbelievable relationship with coach. And so I was with him yesterday again, and you speak to him every single day and you love on him and you check on him because he's obviously going through a lot of ebbs and flows. And people see the numbers and they think, oh, he's getting this, that, or the other. What's he care? Well, you know what? A lot. He cares a lot. He cares a lot about human beings. He cares a lot about families. We have 4 members of our staff that has 15-month or under children.
Oh, wow.
And so everybody's insurance is up April 30th. And so there's a lot more to it. And that's life. That's just part of the business. When we got let go at Clemson, we had 2 boys in a house. And, we were just trying to figure out at that moment how we were going to make it. And I remember like it was yesterday, we were making $85,000 maybe at Clemson, something like that. And we took a job at Valparaiso with Scott Drew for $40,000. And so, back then, maybe in 2003, I don't know what that equates to, but, you just had to do what you had to do in order to do what you wanted to do. And if you want to stay in it, sometimes you have to take, 3 steps back to take, 4 steps forward. And so it's just life and it's part of it. So I'm doing as well as you would imagine. Just got a lot of moving parts. And then what's next for you? Like, you're 61 years old and I got a lot in my tank for, I don't know what though. I've had a lot of different thoughts and a lot of different, things come at me. Maybe get into administration, maybe get into college, pro, like NBA college scouting, go join another staff like I did this year. I dabbled with a head coaching job, a Division I head coaching job a little bit. And so all over the map. But while all that was going on, we were still playing and we were still, involved in Kansas State basketball. So I was, kind of like not really into it as so to speak. But, now I got to get a little bit more clear headed as far as, what's next for me. The blessing is we own our home in Jacksonville. I'm going to come home to Jacksonville to retire more than likely. So we can come home. The problem is I could be chauffeuring you around and you could be drinking your Starbucks and doing your radio show and I could just be your driver.
Yeah, you could be doing that, or you could just land a spot here on the network, man, and just talk some ball. We got people clamoring for that. So if you can't find anything, you've got a home right here and talk some ball, talk some life. And
that's very good. Speaking of ball, by the way, speaking of ball and life.
Go ahead.
This always gets whacked out. I don't know why. This connect. You got
okay.
me?
Yeah, you're good.
Speaking of ball and life, how about the state championships being held at UNF?
That was great. Really good. We just had Urban Lewis on yesterday, and I was over there for about 4 of the games, probably 4 of the days. The crowds were fantastic, Coach. I mean, they did a great job. UNF can really host an event, but more than 21,000 fans. And that was 4,000 more than last year in Lakeland. I think it was the biggest crowds in a decade. We had 10 Jacksonville teams represent, so it was cool. And Driscoll, you're not going to believe this, but I don't think you'd believe it. But Andrew Jackson, the night they played last Monday, that place was every bit as full when you guys played for an ASUN championship in 2015.
Easy, Jack. Easy, Jack. There were 6,133 there that night. And
well,
remember there was no hospitality suite back then.
I was going to say, I think UNF Arena's lost some seats, right, since then?
800. Yeah, 800.
Yeah. So, but my point is, you could look up in every section of that arena, and it was filled, like for Jackson. It was too bad they didn't win that game because they would have got another huge gate on Wednesday for the championship. But really great. They did a great job. The basketball was good, and I just love the atmosphere. It was a perfect venue for it.
I about 10 years ago, I think it was, Bobby would know better, but 10 years ago, 8 years ago, we tried really hard to get, Irvin actually would know best. We tried really hard to get it, but our bid wasn't whatever. And so Lakeland got another, do-over. And then this time, I think we went a little bit sharper pencil. And then I also think with the track and the Division II championships coming in and all the different things, I think we were a little bit more aggressive. And it's an incredible place to watch a basketball game. And you got the hospitality section where you could do a little bit extra and really jazz that up a little bit and have some dignitaries. I know the mayor came and spoke, and which was awesome. And then you look down the road, Brent, and you talk about, the stadium getting done and what that's going to bring, and how that's going to really, really help elevate what we're going to do in the city. And so it's really a neat time for the city, and the city's really going upward. And really, really fortunate for that, for someone that lived there for 16 straight years and saw it grow leaps and bounds from 2009 to what it is today. And I think you came in the same year, if I'm not mistaken.
No, same year, man. Same year. Oh, wait, we've been here since, and you kind of just watch this thing grow. So really cool. And speaking of growing, obviously you built this thing up at the University of North Florida along with Bobby Kennan and that staff. I want to get your thoughts. Obviously the win-loss record wasn't great, 7-25. How proud of you, the job that he did? And maybe more so, the question is, are you proud or excited, not just for him, but the fact that maybe Nick Morrow saw through a little bit of that record and saw some of the other things that he brings to the table to give him the full-time gig?
If you remember when Nick approached me with a 2-year extension to give me 3 years total, the one thing Nick said is, I don't want to build $1 million locker room and then start NIL and then let somebody else do it after what you've done for this university. And so technically I had 3 years left on my contract. So this year and 2 more. So for Bobby, I think that's probably where Nick was going with the whole idea of like, okay, he didn't have his 2 best players, 2 starters, 7-footer Arden, and obviously 6'3" guard Mason Watkins. Those 2 guys are the next level up guys. And he didn't have them. And Cameron Oriole was, like a Chaz Lanier, that, I'll be prepared. Perhaps my chance will come. And so I think Nick, to his credit, took what he had offered me and said, you know what, Bobby's been here with Drisk. He understands what this thing takes. NIL in that league, obviously the top teams in the league had the best NIL, so it's not rocket science, right? And so like that's, in my opinion, I don't know that for fact, but that would make sense. That would be a logical, if I was an athletic director, that'd be a logical thought process. And like really good human beings, like really love the community. I mean, all that stuff that you want to have on top of wins. And so, and I think you parlay into the tournament this year. And I think when you look at the tournament this year, in my opinion, Brent, if you just played if you put your money on the lowest seeds, I think you're going to come out ahead this year. Like, I think you're going to make money. And the reason I say that is because, first of all, Michigan, Arizona, Duke, those 3 teams are head and shoulders the best 3 teams that we've had in college basketball in a long, 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 long time. Now, Michigan obviously losing that kid hurt them a little bit, Casson, whatever his name was, but those 3 teams are head and shoulders. Then you throw a Florida team is just below them because their guard play is not the same as it was last year, just below them, right? And if you throw that into a barrel and you just do all that, like last year we had 4 number 1 seeds reach the finals, correct?
Yeah.
This year, I think it's even going to go a step further. And it's going to be the lower seed is just going to continue to dominate because of transfer portal, NLI, and the ability to have the best players, just like in the NBA, just like in Major League. Like the NBA actually has a cap. Major League Baseball doesn't. The Dodgers could and the Yankees can buy a World Series every single year. And the Pirates can have Paul Skeens all they want, but at the end of the day, they ain't winning. So, like, I'm really believing more and more, and especially because I was at that level this year. And I saw exactly what that looked like from this level. Now, you can miss. I'm not saying that. Right now, the teams that are in the tournament, they didn't miss. And so, can St. John's upset Duke and get to the Elite Eight? Yeah, of course they can. Can UConn and Michigan State, because of who they have? Of course they can. Can Illinois, because of their offense, right? Can Illinois just, bump off? Houston's not the same Houston as they've been in the past, but they're better on offense. So sometimes a little better on offense, a little worse on defense, you can still win. So Illinois would be one of those teams that I'd be, surprised about, or not surprised about, but I would say they have a chance. Alabama now with the loss of Holloway because of the drug situation, and that's another thing too. And I don't know the kid from Adam, but I would just say this to you because I witnessed this. Like, when these guys get all this money, the amount of hanger-oners and the way people can pull their strings and really play with their heart and really play with their kindness and their goodness. Like, I can see a kid like that lending his buddy, $40,000. That guy goes out and buys a pound of marijuana. And next thing you know, bada bing, but I don't know. But my point is, like, that's the other part of this where, hopefully a collective bargaining or something comes into play. But I think Michigan is going to have enough. The other scary team on the bottom of that bracket in the Midwest is they're going to have to go head to head. And there are probably two teams that could get to the Final Four if they played their way right, would be Virginia and Iowa State. Iowa State is good, boy.
Really good.
They are good. And they got two older dudes that are really good. But Virginia, they just keep coming at you, keep coming at you, keep coming at you. And then what's crazy is when you go up to Arizona, right? And you say, okay, this team was number one most of the year. They won the Big 12. They this, that, and the other. Listen to this. I think they're going to have to be Purdue, Gonzaga, or Arkansas to get to the championship.
Wow.
I mean, and then they're going to have to beat Michigan or Virginia or Iowa State. You're going to have to get to the championship. So I'm really a believer this year just because of analytics, NIL, transfer portal, and I really believe the low seeds are going to dominate. Now, there's going to be a high point, maybe a high scoring team that can make a lot of threes that sneaks in. A St. Louis that's really not a sneaker inner, but really isn't one of them dudes either. Or maybe I don't know, a darling like maybe Nebraska is a darling just because of Hoiberg and what they haven't done there in so long and yada yada yada. VCU, I don't think so, but I really believe that. I really believe, and I think at the end of the day, it's Duke and Arizona, and I think Duke's just too good.
Wow, how about that? I think Arizona's dang good too. You got it. I want two questions if I have time. You got to go. I know you got a thing coming up. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. So what I want to, you're going to maybe tell me I'm right because I think this is what you just kind of said, but I've been saying this for weeks now. I think this tournament is as deep as I remember. Now, I understand what you're saying about those those teams that are good are really good. But I also think you're going to get Sweet 16 games that feel like Elite 8 games. I think you're going to get Elite 8 games that feel like Final Four games or almost national championship games. And I'll take the Florida one, for example. Florida's going to play Vandy. They just got pretty good in the SEC tourney by Vandy, or they could play them in the Sweet 16. But on the other side, you mentioned Houston and Illinois, and I agree with you. But I also don't sleep on North Carolina. I think the best North Carolina team, like when they really show up, could beat almost anybody in the country as well. I don't know if you agree or not, but that's my point. Like, I think you're going to run into some stuff for these quality teams. They're not going to roll into the Elite Eight, even if they're good. They're going to run into some friction pretty early, I think.
Well, to your point, I mean, your point is 100% is accurate, in my opinion. And let me ask you this question. Go back, Brent, to November and then December. Didn't you feel like there were a whole lot, even during the season, Baylor played Louisville, and there was another one-off game. There were NIL games where teams made extra NIL for their coffers. Like, didn't you think there was a whole lot more games against Power Four, like opponents or Big East, throw them in the mix, where during the season, there was a lot of games against really good teams instead of playing, guarantee games, like 103 of them that we played in my 16 years when I was there. 6 in 97, by the way. Big six. Big six. $8.25 million.
That's crazy.
But to your point, you're 100% accurate that from the fans' perspective, from the eyeballs on the TV, from the advertisers' perspective, I'd agree with you. I think everybody's going to win because the games are going to be that much more like want-to-see TV type of situations, exactly what you're explaining, which makes the Final Four maybe, just maybe, Indianapolis. Last winter in Indianapolis, by the way, was Scott Drew and Baylor. Indianapolis, by the way, a close place to a lot of people. So could be the most watched Final Four in the history of college basketball. So I think you're 100% on point with exactly what you're saying. And I don't think, by the way, we can flip the script quickly, but I don't think anybody's beating UConn on the women's side. I think that thing is locked and loaded and over and done, in my opinion.
He's got it going again. Oriema does. All right, let me leave you with this.
Players.
Players. The Kansas State experience. I love that you got a couple of wins, man. That was cool to see. I mean, the Baylor win and obviously just beat West Virginia. So how much did that mean to you to be able to get a couple of those dubs down the stretch? But did you feel a certain way? Like, did you enjoy being an assistant coach? Or did you feel a certain way when you got back in the saddle, even in the position it was, being a head coach for half a dozen games? Where you're like, man, I still want to do that. Even if I just want to be around basketball, I kind of like being the head guy as much as I enjoyed being the assistant. Where are you at in all that at 61 years old?
Well, kind of neat with Baylor. I told Coach Drew before the game, you never would play me because he doesn't like playing his former assistants. And so I told him, I said, well, Coach, how about a favor? How about you just put $100,000 in my personal account since we don't have a job anymore? And which was crazy. That was the first game. We all hung out at Coach Tang's house the night before, and it was really like it was eerie in my mind that we were even doing that. So that was kind of apropos that it was Baylor. And then on the flip side, West Virginia, that's where Carrie's from. So, I guess she can go home and be proud and walk around, that transpired. I love being coach's assistant. I loved having that opportunity to help these young assistants grow and learn, which is hard sometimes at that level for a head coach to continually do that because there's so many other things. But I really, really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the fact that I didn't have to worry about my phone ringing at night. I didn't have to worry about what guys were doing because at the end of the day, it's the head coach's responsibility. And what I mean by that is one time we went to Chicago and we were flying out of Chicago and we had a 4-hour layover and coach was on the phone the whole 4 hours. And I was on the computer working on video and clips and stuff like that. And so I loved it because I was doing basketball and he was dealing with, some stuff. So like that, but as you flip over, going back to your last part of your question, I really, really enjoyed being a head coach. I really feel, and I can say this with humility, and yet it's just how I felt. Like I felt like I was a really good head coach. Like I really was good at what we did, the way in which we did it. how we grew our product, the way in which we developed our young men. And I can tell you that because of how they continually reach out to you, and people that I hadn't heard from in years reaching out and saying this, that, and the other. And so I really feel like, our staff and our culture, people like to use that word for whatever reason, but I know when you walked into our situation, you could feel culture. And, Dallas is getting in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And Brent,
very cool.
I'm going to take your video and I'm going to make sure that's going to be my speech. It's not going to be about Dallas Moore. It's the basketball player. It's going to be about how his parents raised him, the culture that we continue to help him become a young man, and what he did for J.P. Thornton. And I'm going to talk about that because the basketball stuff's irrelevant. Everybody can talk about how great he was. But the human being is what's really why he's a Hall of Famer. And so, I just we'll see what happens. It's I don't know, if go down a level and maybe, be a head coach at a Division II school or something like that, or just stay an assistant or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Hey. Maybe just come back and hang out with you. I don't know.
Yeah, man. We're ready for it.
By the way, can we please take a wide receiver? Please.
You want a wide receiver?
Can the Jaguars take a wide receiver, please?
Okay. As long as they don't trade Brian Thomas Jr. away, Coach.
No, they're not. They're not going to do that. That would be foolish. That would be. Yeah. And then, by the way, Parker Washington, what a year.
Oh, he's great.
But he's great because he's great in that role. He's not great being the A guy.
Yeah.
He's the X, Y, and Z on the thing. Like he's the Z or whatever. Like sometimes, oh yeah, we'll move him to here. Well, he's really much better when he's that guy. That's my opinion.
I agree. Well, I think you're right. It'll be interesting to see if they grab wide receiver or not. But hey, I'm gonna let you go. I know you got an appointment coming up. Great catching up. Thanks for hanging out with us, talking NCAA tournament. Glad you're doing well. Get out of that cold, man. We'll see you on the beach soon enough.
Hey, Saturday it's gonna be 93 here. 23 to 93. Is that crazy?
That's unbelievable.
Welcome to the Wild Wild West. All right, love you, brother. Man. Appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you. That's Coach Matthew Driscoll. He's the best. Interesting, great. If you just jumped in late to that conversation, some good insight on what he's doing next. Or although I don't know if he has a lot of insight, but everything's up in the air and on the table. And also some terrific thoughts on Bobby Kennan and the University of North Florida. And if you're ready to do your bracket, some very good thoughts on the bracket. And so what he meant by lower seeds, he's talking the 1, 2, 3, 4 seeds. He thinks it's going to be a lot of chalk, if you will, in the NCAA tournament. I mean, we can't do much better than this. We go Greg Coleman on Monday, Matthew Driscoll on Tuesday. Just two of my favorite guests here on the Brent and Austen Show, the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Let's take a break. Come back, Brent and Austen Show. I guess there's been a trade. Jalen Waddle traded to the Broncos. Interesting. A little bit more on Brian Thomas Jr. We have a graphic from Daniel Griffiths. He writes about him today on actionsportsjacks.com, a deep dive into BTJ. We take you until noon here on a Tuesday on the Brent and Austen Show.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily access Action News Jacks Now using your Roku device. First, launch Roku. Next, use the menu list to scroll down to the search feature. Then use the remote to enter Action News Jax into the search bar, and then click Action News Jax thumbnail. Once you see this screen, go ahead and select Add App. Wait a few seconds for it to install. Once it finishes installing, press the star button on your remote and click on Move App or Move App to the top. Finally, select the app back on your home screen to open it. Now you can watch all the great content on Action News Jax now. Live daily breaking news.
We have breaking news happening right now in Clay County.
First alert weather and traffic.
Looks like we have a tornado warning. Let's take a look at that.
Action Sports Jax 24/7.
We've got the Brent and Austen Show daily, live sporting events, and long-form interviews you can't see anywhere else.
And shows like Law and Crime and much more. And that's how you access Action News Jax now using your Roku device.
Nimnicht is synonymous with Jacksonville, and now in 2026, Nimnicht is celebrating 85 years of partnerships with you. Longevity equals trust, and you want a car dealership you can trust. Thousands of vehicles sold, generations of families, all part of the Nimnicht family of dealerships. My family has been part of the Nimnicht family for almost 20 of those 85 years, and I've told you about all the different vehicles that we've purchased. But it's not about the cars and the trucks. It's about the service and also the Nimnicht relationships that expand all around the community.
Congratulations to Jordan Matthews, our committed to the uncommitted player of the year.
Nobody but Nimnicht. They are there for you and your causes, your car buying experience, and they are there for you 24 hours a day at NimnichtBuickGMC.com. Experience professional grade with big inventory and even bigger savings. And Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealership. Nobody but Nimnicht for 85 years. This milestone belongs to you, Jacksonville.
Year 2 is in the books for the Jacksonville Armada women's under-23 squad, taking another step forward in the Women's Premier Soccer League. Under the guidance of head coach David Goff, the girls in blue went undefeated at home for a second straight season, including a dramatic draw in the opener.
And they've left it to the death. Unbelievable stuff.
And a late winner to end the season at home.
Headed on. Here's a chance. Gianna Ramirez brings it down, still alive, takes a shot, and into the back of the net.
After fielding a younger roster in 2025 with talent from all across Northeast Florida, the future is bright for the Armada women's team. We highlight the ladies and all things Jacksonville Armada each week on Fleet and Footy on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
Hey guys, we got a new player today. I hear he's pretty good.
Heard this guy played in the NFL.
I think he's an MMA fighter. I've actually been on his show, the Brent and Austen show.
Football and fighting, that's the easy part. Let's see if I still have it on the ice. What the heck, man? Who is this guy? He's saving everything.
Leave the hockey to the pros, man. It's hockey season. Come on out and see the Icemen play. Get your tickets at JacksonvilleIcemen.com.
You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
Okay, so big news from the NFL. Jalen Waddle traded from the Miami Dolphins to the Denver Broncos reportedly. So we'll get to that in just a moment. But speaking of, everybody's like, trade Brian Thomas Jr., call the Jags. No. That's why it doesn't happen. Brian Thomas Jr. over the middle, according to Daniel Griffiths, and he writes about this today on ActionSportsJax.com. Look at how this is very interesting to me. And let's leave this up for a couple minutes if we can, Chandler, because I want people to dissect this. Because I think the thought is, and I'll be honest with you, I think I had this thought, is that Brian Thomas Jr. never went over the middle in 2024. And that's why he had such a good year. He doesn't want to go over the middle, all this stuff. Well, he went over the middle quite a bit. Decent amount. Look at all those yards. A few touchdowns. Did have a couple of drops. But for 2025, it got off to such a slow, bad start. and over the middle was the problem, and the shying away from contact that we saw in the Cincinnati game. It became a thing like, okay, he can't go over the middle anymore. And he really didn't. I mean, the Jags basically took that away from him. So, like, this is a little bit surprising to me that he went over the middle as much in 2024 than he did in 2025. But Cohen basically said, okay, we're going to take that away from him. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to put him in that spot. He's uncomfortable for whatever reason. But he was fine in 2024. Now, what constitutes over the middle? I guess I have to ask a little bit more of Daniel Griffiths on that front and look that up. But, I remember so many bubble screens and everything else, and I don't think that felt like the middle. I mean, that's the outside. I don't think there were a lot of like middle screens. So it's pretty wild that these numbers pop the way they do. And once again, Daniel Griffiths writes about it at actionsportsjacks.com. But does this also give you, if you're Liam Cohen, some thought about maybe they should try it again? Maybe it was just something that didn't go right for him last year. For whatever reason, they got off to a bad start. You lose your confidence, everything else. So, the Brian Thomas Jr. story, I'm confident that the Brian Thomas Jr. story is going to be a really good one at the end of the day. I believe in that. I believe in him. I believe in his talents. It certainly comes with some question marks. I agree, and I've said that. And I think the mesh and the fit with everything that Cohen wants to do or this offense wants to do is debatable. But what you can't deny is his talent. And you also can't just ignore other numbers like that. Last 2 years ago when things were good. Guys have good years, guys have bad years. And that happens in all sports. And I would even say this was a bad year. I mean, at the end of the day, you look up at Brian Thomas Jr., it felt like a bad year. Well, I don't know if it was a bad year. Hell of a catch against the Colts, big time catch against Houston, big time catch against the Kansas City Chiefs. He was a separator. I think he had 90 yards in the Las Vegas game. He was a big reason against Denver why Parker Washington, I think, is allowed to do what he does. Brian Thomas Jr. factor and impact was way bigger than people give him credit for. And that the stats will show, and that's fantasy football. And also, we were talking this time last year, is Brian Thomas Jr. going to be a top 5 guy, top 10 guy? That's no longer the conversation until he earns that conversation once again. So the big story, by the way, Jalen Waddle traded from the Miami Dolphins to the Denver Broncos. So the Broncos making a big move. It's funny, coach just said, go get another wide receiver. I don't feel like the Jags really need wide receiver, right, in the draft or whatever else. They were never going to trade for Jalen Waddle. I don't see that. But a huge move for Denver in what they already have. And now they add to Bo Nix, and they add a piece to a really good football team and a good defense, and they're really chasing it and going for it. So what is Miami doing? And who can be next? I think the Jags should go get Seiler. Go get him. I'm going to go look this up real quick, so bear with me a little bit. First, a thought or two on PTJ before we get too far ahead of ourselves. I thought Cohen's screen game plus Hunter would have been better than it was. I think it will improve. I think that's Delphonic that says that. And by the way, Delphonic, I think it's an underrated storyline. A lot of people, I didn't really think it was like an unbelievable answer, or maybe it was an unbelievable question. When we had Coach on Jaguars All Access, I got him right after that for a few questions, just a few different questions that we hadn't asked. And one of them was like, I've heard, and this intrigues me, I've heard Cohen say multiple times, like, hey, we had to pare back down the offense, and there's more to it. And so I asked him a little bit more, can he expand on that? And he said, yeah, I mean, there's an evolution to this thing. Like, this offense will be even more involved. And people got excited about it. They're like, wow, he scored 30 points a game. This offense is going to be even more. Well, I think it's exactly, my mind goes to what you're saying, Delphonic. That's the screen game. Like, he ripped it out. It was a huge part of maybe why he even got the job at Jacksonville, the Tampa Bay success. And then he was like, this ain't working. So they kind of ripped it out. They didn't rip it completely out, but they did not use the screen game because for whatever reason in Jacksonville, we can't run a damn screen play, and haven't been for the 20 years basically I've been around. Now, we did a little bit better. I think it was 2022. We did a little bit. I was screaming like, holy cow, a screenplay. So we've done a little better around here, but still not to the degree he wants to run it. So I think that's part of the evolution of this thing. We also have a comment. I think the wrist injury he had was worse than what people thought. Wouldn't surprise me if he found out he had off-season surgery on it. Well, I think we'd already know that. But to your point, I think his season and Trayvon Walker's season have to have a little bit of an asterisk and a footnote to it. Trayvon's probably a little bit more because we know the significance of the knee injury and the hand injury, and that was pretty obvious. On the lighter side, or maybe the not as pronounced side, is the BTJ stuff. How much was the wrist bothering him? How much was that a factor playing with him in his mind? I mean, you need your wrist to catch the football, right? That's a factor. And then later on, missed a couple of games, and the ankle became a thing. So how much was that a factor? So when you have guys wrestling through it, and what I keep saying, specifically in Brian Thomas Jr.'s case, is a 23-year-old guy. He's a young player. Some people handle stuff a little bit different. Some people take a little bit longer to mature. Some people, it takes a bit to learn how to play with injuries or become a pros, but whatever that might be at his own time. And that's why I still think sky's the limit, man, for Brian Thomas Jr. He's got to fix some stuff up. But maybe you guys are right on whether it's a screen game, but really on the injury front with BTJ. All right, back to the Miami Dolphins trade. Jalen Waddle. Like, I get what Miami's doing here, and they've got a new regime. But do we really get what Miami's doing? I mean, I guess Waddle signed a big deal, so unload that. I want to look this up. Who else might they move? And this is the guy that I've been talking about for a while for Jacksonville. Zach Seiler. I'm trying to get to his contract. Give me a second if you don't mind. Sorry. But it's taken a little bit to come up. I think I saw he signed a 3-year, $67 million deal. I think that's what it was. His 2026 cap hit, by the way, is $11.4 million. This is where the deal is. He will be he will be 31 years old. I thought he was 29. I thought he was a little younger than that. So is that really that different than what you already have in a player like Armstead, to be honest? And now there's a potential out in his deal in 2027 that would leave, it looks like $9 million in dead cap. So manageable, because his contract goes up to $20 million, or his cap hit, $20 million, 23, 22. So like there'd be like restructuring and things like that. How much would it cost for a guy like Seiler? Again, 31-year-old season is coming up. But I can tell you this, and it'll be 31 September. So there's a couple of things about that. And this is why I don't think you should completely give up on Armstead. The guys can play at that position deeper into their careers and still have a lot of success. Look at Calais Campbell and others. I do think it's a bit of concern, but you're also not paying this somebody $30 million a year. $11 million cap hit to me is very manageable. The other side of it, and the reason why I'm kind of hot, and I might have explained this in the past, why Seiler's been on my mind, is I know when the Jags practiced with the Miami Dolphins, they were really impressed with him. Like, he wrecked practice. And that was something that this regime really noted of what he did. And I don't think you can dismiss that. I think if you look at the guys that they have picked up over the years, or last year, really, take a guy like Gardeck. Gardeck was a game wrecker on their sheet when they were with the Rams. I think it was not Tampa, but with the Rams. And so they remembered that. Think about the Max Crosby conversation after the game, the linkage to him in the last couple of weeks. Was it real? Was it not? Who knows? But the point is, I think the Jags, when they kind of feel like they like a guy, and especially since he's played against them and they've had to battle against them and they've seen it firsthand, I don't know how you can't like that if you're anybody, but I think the Jags really take note of it. So to me, the Miami Dolphins shedding all this talent and the latest one being Waddle a short time ago to the Denver Broncos, brings a player like Seiler into play. What I'm curious about is at age 31, by the time he takes the field in September, is that where the Jags want to go, right? I mean, what are you going to give up? And is it worth going after an older guy? But what I would suggest, and just let me see from a production standpoint, but what I would suggest on the Seiler front is the Jags are a little bit in a, and I use the word loosely. Nobody would ever admit they're desperate, but I do think they are hungry to get better at that position, and the supply and demand just continues to not be there at that position. And so, if this is the way to go to get better, why not take a look at it? Why can't I find his stats? Let me see. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, in the last 3 years, he's got 25 sacks, 10, 10, 5.5. Again, going to be 31. Is that a trend that's going up? Probably not. He's also got a couple interceptions in 24 and 23. So how about that? So I think the flyer on Seiler makes some sense with the Miami Dolphins shedding, with the Jaguars at least liking what they saw during that practice and probably what the tape will say, with the production of the last few years, with a manageable contract, at least at this stage. Why not? I think they should really investigate it. I think, who knows, they probably already have. But I think it would make a lot of sense. So how about the Waddle one? I mean, the Waddle moving on. So the Dolphins have now moved on from Ramsey last year. They moved on from Bradley Chubb, who went to the Bills. Tua, of course. They move on from Waddle now. I'm sure I'm missing somebody else. They traded Minka Fitzpatrick away. I mean, they only got I don't know how many more guys they even have. But I think that would be worth exploring. Again, $11 million cap hit this year, production the last few years, and the Dolphins are offloading. What would you give for Seiler at Delphonic? Yeah, I'm not good at this. You're better at this. You're the guy that I go to on this a little bit more. You might have a feel for the salaries and everything. Yeah, I would suggest a third is way too high because I don't think it's a long-term fix. Like, it might be a 1-year rental, or maybe you redo the contract and you have him for a bit. I don't know. I mean, I would say a fourth or a fifth. Yeah, something like that. I guess I'll just throw it out there. Maybe it's a fifth and a seventh. Who knows? You got plenty of picks. I don't give a damn about the picks. Now, again, I would say, like, I want to be able to use my thirds specifically to go up in this draft if I want to, or position myself for next year or whatever else, just whatever that might look like. But, and if he was 29, I'd probably be like, heck yeah, man, let's go. And look what happened in his 29 and 30-year-old seasons. He had 10 sacks. I still think 5.5 and mixing it with this group could be really good. And let's just say, let's just keep throwing this out there for the hell of it. If he's $11 million, and what's like Armstead on the books for like 19, which is a lot. But if you put those two together and get good play at their age as a stopgap, hopefully enhance that position, you're paying $30 million for that position. Like, is that big a deal? I think you pay a top flight guy like what, 28, 30, $32 million now for that spot, whatever it is. I mean, it's a hefty cost. So yeah, I just think I've always had it on my radar ever since last year when they practiced with them. I think you're running out of options if you're the Jaguars. Who knows how they look at the draft? And by the way, you still go draft somebody. I still have a little confidence in Mason Smith. Can find it. Young player. I think he's motivated. Talked to him this past week. I liked what I heard from him. He's got to go do it. I get it. And I think we should have a little confidence that a guy like Armstead has something left in the tank. So, and we'll see if they make a move there. I guess, I don't think they're going to at this. You can't just empty a cupboard that looks pretty bare right now anyway in terms of production. So I wouldn't be stunned if the Jags went and tried to make a play or haven't already tried to make a play for Seiler. I think it makes some sense. Get a little older, but you hopefully get a little bit more productive in that spot. In a year where you think you could really make some hay, you're right there. So why not? Would be interesting to see how much a guy like that would cost. And then what they do with the contract. Again, looks like there's an out after this year. They could see how that goes. $20 million cap space next year. The Dolphins probably want to get rid of that pretty soon, but maybe they're asking a lot. Who knows? Did you see the compensation, by the way? Chandler, you see the compensation at all for the Waddle deal? Did they say yet?
Let me check.
Oh, here you go. Oh, wow. A lot. Geesh. First, third, and fourth round picks in this year's draft. Damn. And the Dolphins are giving up a fourth. So they swapped four. So it's really a first and a third. But also you let's see, the
Denver receives 4th and 11th round.
11th round. There's no such thing. Fourth round is the first round pick is only a number 30 because Denver obviously had a really good year. Waddle's only 27, by the way. 64 passes, 910 yards last year for a team that didn't have a quarterback. And he's due $41 million over the next 2 seasons, which, by the way, for that's not bad. Like, the way receivers are getting paid, the money's not that bad. Oh, 11th in the round.
11th in the round. There it is.
Yeah. Oh, I get what you're saying now. So, maybe not that bad a deal for the Denver Broncos. Really a first and a third. And you get a guy for $20 million to add to a team that's pretty close. Like, maybe a sensible move for the Denver Broncos there. And we'll see what else the Miami Dolphins get rid of. So let's keep Seiler at least on on the radar. Why not? I think it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't make 100% no-brainer sense, but I think it makes a lot of sense given the certain situation. Hey, before we get out of here, let's have some fun. I want you got to let me know, did I win this or did Olivia Tassley win this? Because we put this out on social media, had some fun at the fan shop. And by the way, I thought we both did well. I was impressed with myself, if you don't mind me saying. But I've had some people come to my defense, even though I wasn't the closest. Percentage-wise, I was, so I should win by percentage. Got to go get my lawyers involved. Here's a look.
Go find an item in the PGA Tour fan shop you think the other person wouldn't know the price of. Whoever guesses closer wins.
You know what I think I'm going to? I'm going to go to the golf apparel part because I don't think Liv will have a clue.
All right, guys, we're going to pick up this is Smith & Wesson Swiss size quarter zip because number one, I don't think Brent is going to know the brand of this, and number two, it is limited edition for the Players Championship, and I don't think he's going to know that either.
I think when I was in here the other day, there were a lot more of these collars, but let's see what Liv thinks.
Who wants to guess first?
I'll guess first. That's a women's pullover. Looks kind of nice. Got to be a brand because Liv wouldn't have it if it wasn't like a brand. So I'm going 119.
Ooh, the price is $125.
Whoa! Wow! How about that?
I did not expect that, to be honest, out of Brent Martineau.
I'm not sure I would have guessed the price of the golf towel. What you got?
I'm gonna say it's $30.
Wow, pretty good.
How close am I?
It made me buy $1.
That's knowledge right there. Drop the towel.
That was fun. I think we're going to keep doing that. Maybe down the road in future players, maybe other things. But I was impressed with myself for a moment until Liv beat me. But now most everybody's saying, Chandler, that first of all, my item was a lot bigger. And the percentage that I was closer is a winner. So we should calculate the percentage more than the dollar amount. So I like that they've come to my defense in that regard. And I didn't think of it that way, but they might be right.
Well,
The other thing is, what did I went under. So Price is Right. I was 119, I think, I guess.
Yep.
Or no, maybe the thing was 119. No. I guessed 119. It was 125. And she guessed 30. So she was over. So by Price is Right rules, I would have won. So maybe I really won this thing.
I'm thinking next time you guys do this, you got to talk about this before you do this challenge.
Yeah,
The
I know.
rules aren't clarified.
It's more fun to talk about it after and just make a case for me to somehow win. I will tell you this. There's like real thought that Liv cheated. And I don't want to just blame it on her cheating, because here's the deal. You know what I said right after? I said I almost got a golf putter cover. You know those like small little things, look like socks essentially on a putter. And she's like, "Oh, that's $42." I'm like, "How the heck did you know it was $42?" She's like, "Oh, I bought one of those last week for a friend." I'm like, "Okay, you've done your shopping then." Like, she probably knew the range of the towel too.
Yeah, she knew.
She knew, didn't she? There's one I did not know at all, but I think she might have had a better idea. I was still pretty impressed. Even if she cheated, she hit it pretty well until she told me the exact price of the putter cover. Nobody knows it. I would never have guessed the exact price of the putter cover, not even close, probably. So anyway, we got shenanigans going on. Hey, the Instagram, go check it out. We've got a vote up for our best of bracket here in March for the Jacksonville Jaguars, best of 2025. Calling it a 26 bracket, but it's the best of 2025. And we'll also put that out on Twitter, I believe. So whichever one you use and want to vote, but it's already up there on Instagram. We'll combine the two and we'll move things forward each and every day here in the month of March and find the best of the best. Is it going to be Cohen Sala? Is it going to be Steezy Trev? Is it going to be Slip Six? Is it going to be Lloyd Pick Six? Is it going to be hiring Tony Baselli? Who knows? We will see. Thanks for hanging out with us. Fun show with Matthew Driscoll. If you want to go back and listen to Driscoll before you do your bracket, you might want to do that because he gives you some sage advice about this year's tournament. We also caught up with him about what's going on at UNF and also what's going on with him next as he hangs out in Kansas, in Manhattan, Kansas, at least for now, before hopefully coming back to Jacksonville sometime soon. We don't have Club 904 today. Mia's been in and out doing some wedding things, and she will join us tomorrow on the show, though. So we'll take a look at that bracket a little bit deeper back in the studio on a Wednesday edition of the Brent Austin Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Have a good rest of your Tuesday, everybody. See you on TV tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Nimnicht is synonymous with Jacksonville, and now in 2026, Nimnicht is celebrating 85 years of partnerships with you. Longevity equals trust, and you want a car dealership you can trust. Thousands of vehicles sold, generations of families, all part of the Nimnicht family of dealerships. My family has been part of the Nimnicht family for almost 20 of those 85 years, and I've told you about all the different vehicles that we've purchased. But it's not about the cars and the trucks. It's about the service and also the Nimnicht relationships that expand all around the community.
Congratulations to Jordan Matthews, our committed to the uncommitted player of the year.
Nobody but Nimnicht. They are there for you and your causes, your car buying experience, and they are there for you 24 hours a day at NimnichtBuickGMC.com. Experience professional grade with big inventory and even bigger savings. And Jacksonville's only Car Bravo certified dealership. Nobody but Nimnicht for 85 years. This milestone belongs to you, Jacksonville.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports.